Today, we're going to tell a story called The Frog Sells His Pond. A little frog that lives in a dirty and smelly muddy pond really wants to sell the pond and move to the city. But who would buy such a pond? Just as it's trying hard to transform the pond, it actually meets a mysterious new character. Can this pond be sold smoothly? Come and listen to the story together. By a patch of lush green grass, there was a dull and muddy pond. Gurgle, gurgle, gurgle. A little frog covered in mud poked its head out of the pond. It shook the mud off its legs, and splat, splat, small mud spots splashed around. There was only stinky mud in this pond. There weren't cute little ducks swimming around, and no soft green grass. The little frog's green clothes were always dirty, and it had long since not wanted to live here. Ribbit, selling the muddy pond, selling the muddy pond. The little frog puffed out its cheeks and shouted loudly, clip-clop, clip-clop. An old cow wagged its tail and walked over slowly. It lowered its head and sniffed the pond, huff, huff, and said, "This little puddle is quite comfortable for rolling around in, but unfortunately, there's no grass around. It looks bare and not nice." After saying that, the old cow shook its head and mooed as it walked away. The little frog scratched its head and plop jumped into the muddy pond. It found a small shovel and dug holes around the pond and scattered grass seeds in them. In just a few days, the tender green grass whooshed up. The little frog croaked happily and started shouting again, selling the muddy pond, selling the muddy pond. Flap, flap, a wild duck flapped its wings and flew over. It looked down at the pond and quacked. "Frog, your muddy pond is kind of interesting, but there's too little water in the pond. I can't even swim freely." After saying that, the wild duck flapped its wings and flew away. The little frog whooshed, jumped on to the shore. Ho ran up the hill and found a clear stream. It made a small bucket out of a lotus leaf and splash, splash carried water to the muddy pond. There was more and more water in the pond. And ding, ding, small ripples appeared. Just as the little frog was wiping its sweat and ready to shout again, rustle, rustle, a hedgehog named Spike with a small backpack emerged from the bushes. Spike's eyes sparkled and he circled the pond 3 times. "Wow, it would be great if there were lots and lots of little bugs here. Then I could have a delicious meal." After saying that, he scratched the ground with his small claws and slipped into the grass again. This time, the little frog was smarter. It ran to the vegetable garden and asked Uncle Earthworm advice. "How can I get lots of little bugs in the muddy pond?" Uncle Earthworm wriggled his body and said, "Just put more dry leaves in the mud and keep it moist, and the little bugs will come to make a new home on their own." The little frog immediately hopped around to collect dry leaves and whoosh, poured them into the soil by the muddy pond. In a few days, there really was a rustle, rustle sound by the muddy pond. Just as the little frog was happy, splat, splat, a big spotted toad walked over with a waddling gait. The big toad stared with its big eyes and looked the pond up and down. "This muddy pond can barely be lived in, but it's too dark at night. It would be nice if there were some things that could glow." The little frog scratched its head until it hurt, but couldn't think of a way. At this time, the firefly sisters, hiding behind the tree Twinkle, Twinkle, flew out. We can help. We'll come and dance by the muddy pond every night and make sure to light it up brightly. When the muddy pond became colorful and lively, the mysterious character finally appeared. Splat, splat, a little raccoon wearing overalls and holding a drawing board showed up. It widened its eyes and exclaimed, "Gosh, this is the most amazing pond I've ever seen. It would be so dreamy if I could draw by the pond and see a rainbow reflected in the water." The little frog had a flash of inspiration. It took the little raccoon to the top of the hill and picked a big bunch of colorful wildflowers and plop threw them into the pond. When the gentle breeze blew, the water surface rippled and the flower petals spun around with the water waves. When the sunlight shone on them, it really looked like a rainbow had fallen into the pond. Now the muddy pond had changed completely. The big trees rustled as if they were singing. The flowers smelled fragrant. The butterflies danced among the flowers, and the little birds sang on the branches. There were not only little fish swimming around in the pond, but also little bugs chirping by the shore. At night, the fireflies twinkled and turned the pond into a fairy tale world. The little frog started shouting again. "Come and take a look. My pond is really great. There are trees, flowers, grass, and water here. You can watch the butterflies fluttering among the flowers and listen to the little birds singing in the trees. You can swim freely in the water and lie on the grass to sunbathe. There's also a road that leads to the city. At night, there are little glowing lanterns too." All the little animals swarmed around. The old cow wanted to roll on the grass. The wild duck wanted to swim in the water. Spike was already catching bugs, and the little raccoon sat up an easel and started drawing. But when everyone asked about the price, the little frog swallowed hard, looked at the lively pond, and suddenly felt its eyes get red. "I'm not selling it anymore. Such a wonderful home. I want to live here with everyone." From then on, this pond was never for sale again. The little animals often came here to play, and their cheerful laughter could be heard far and wide. This place not only became a warm home for the little frog, but also a happy paradise for everyone. Dear little friends, this story tells us that sometimes the most precious thing is not what we get by selling something, but the friends and happiness we gain during the process of trying to change things. Just like the little frog's pond, although it was dirty and broken at first, through its efforts and the help of its little friends, it not only made the pond beautiful, but also gained the most precious friendship. When we encounter difficulties in the future, we should also be like the little frog, not be afraid of hard work, and think of solutions together with our friends to make our lives better. Finally, Teacher Bella hopes you will subscribe to my channel so that I can share nice bedtime stories with you every day. Good night, and I wish you all a sweet dream.